So thank you for having me. I'm Vivianna Blanch. I'm the Vice President of E-commerce and Digital Marketing at L'Oreal USA. And Amy mentioned before about side jobs, and I think that's a great cue for my presentation because it's about a side job. And in order to succeed and be successful, you have to have many side jobs. And this side job for me is about developing and creating a network. Okay, and I'm the co-founder of a group called Digitel. And really the mission for L'Oreal and for Digitel is to really create a connected network of women, of female technologists, women that work in digital marketing and technology, a place where they can harvest their innovative ideas, expand their network, and really grow their leadership and professional expertise. So it's a lot of words, right? And what does that really mean? So first, L'Oreal is a company of women. We develop products for women. We're actually the #1 beauty company around the world. There's so many different things that we do for women. We sponsor Women in Science. We actually even have a group called Women in Digital. And Women in Digital actually helps female entrepreneurs start their companies and actually test them with the L'Oreal products. We were just certified. We had received our EDGE certification. So this means that it's really important that we take our own females and our own women and we cultivate and we grow them. So that's what I set out to do earlier on this year. We just launched in March, so we're a fairly new organization. But for me, it's really important that we take the women that we have and give them the tools that they need to sit at the leadership table. How many people here have ever heard of the term tip of the spear or tip of the sword? Depends on your warfare. Okay, good. So I'm going to tell you about tip of the spear. And it's actually, I'm not surprised that many of you don't know about it because it's actually a very male-dominated term. It's actually a term that's used in the military or special ops. And it really is, and I love this term, so you're going to use it all the time now because you're going to love it too. And it's really about the first ones in, that competitive edge, that deadly force that first hits, right? So that's what I want to do at Digitel. I want our girls, our females, to be the tip of the sword, or as I say, the tip of the lipstick, right? I want us to have that competitive advantage. And the only way to do that is to kind of take us out of that web girl or that SAP specialist, because that's really easy to do when you work in technology. You become a specialist. You become the social media girl or the demandware integrator. These are all different things that I think I've been called, but I think for me, I want to make sure we're the tip of the sword and we're competitive. And the only way to do that is to teach our women to think like leaders. So we've set up a calendar of events. The one that's the most important that's coming up pretty soon is on financial savviness is what I'm calling it. And it's really about teaching our digital and our technical and our female technicians to really talk like they know how to speak to a P&L, understand cash flow analysis, understand when you're going out there and you're talking about capital expenses, what does that really mean? So we're going to make sure that we have our head of finance speak to our women and teach them about that. On top of that, we actually have one of our head of legal coming to speak to us about negotiation skills. Not only negotiating for the best contracts and the best deals, but also negotiating for the right funding and the finance for your products and your projects, right? That's really important. I want our women to be able to sit at a table and when the CEO says, hey, what are your promo allowances? I don't want the finance person to answer. I want our head of digital media to answer. For me, that's really important. That's something I want to set out to do. And most recently, actually last week, we actually had an event on building your personal brand because it's really important that we do step out. And some of the women that are a part of Digitel are a little bit more quiet. They tend to work in areas that are a little bit more specialized, so they're not out there. And we taught them how they can build their special and their personal brand through social media. And because we are our beauty company, we had hair and makeup, and we talked about life hacks, right, and beauty hacks, and how you can create an updo in 5 minutes, or pop a lip with color when you're getting off a plane, right? These are important things because we're all so busy. Most of the women in our group are mothers, they're sisters, they're dog owners, cat owners. I happen to be all of those, and I can tell you we don't have time. So again, not only are we teaching them to be leaders and to have that expertise at the leadership table, but also to make their lives a little bit easier. It's important through Digitel that we also give back. So we've spent a lot of time actually volunteering. Most recently, I actually spent an entire day with 7th graders where I taught them about the importance of STEM education and careers in STEM. And when they found out that I worked at L'Oreal, they said, wow, I can work in science and not be in a lab? I can work for a beauty company? And I said, yes. And she was like, do you know Beyonce? And I was like, no, I don't. But I was cool. So I was like, yeah, I can get her anytime. But for me, it was really important that I could show her that, L'Oreal is a company of chemists. It is a company like myself who have a strong understanding of infrastructure and information technology. So that was really great. So that's another thing that we do with Digitel is we get out there and we speak to many girls about the importance of a career. So that's something to keep in mind as you're also learning to make sure you're giving back. And finally, the genesis of Digitel was around networking, and we've learned so much about networking here. But we all know stronger networks, higher paid salaries, you have more opportunities. But something that I found really interesting, actually Forbes published an article about the difference between men who network and women who network, and how men tend to go really broad, right? They go out there and they tend to be a little bit shallow, but they have a lot of networks in many different things, where women tend to go really deep and narrow. And when I was reading that, I'm like, I'm a member of like Mommy and Greyhound Dog Lovers of Putnam County. I mean, that makes sense because I'm going really deep, but I have to think bigger, right? So that's exactly what we're doing with Digitel, because it's women across all digital and technology functions. And now this is really new. And at first, our CMO was like, no, it should be digital marketing and media. And our CTO was like, no, it should just be all of our technology people. And we're putting everyone together, right? Because it's important that you go bigger and you learn from others. So we have everyone from our SAP specialists to our social media network to our information technology team. We have everyone in this group together. We also have people at all different levels. So we have interns networking with vice presidents. And so this is really important. So we're thinking bigger. We're putting everyone in the same group. And, networking is supposed to be fun. I remember my first networking event. It's just a quick sidebar story. I walked into this room and there was all these women there, and everyone already had their own, it was like they all worked together already, and they were all talking, and I had like my business cards with me, and I was intimidated because it was a room full of women, and it just didn't seem much like networking to me. So what we're doing is we've created a lot of networking fun events. We've done speed dating, which is fun. I've never done it in my personal life, but I've done it through Digitel, and it was fun. I learned a lot. And what we did is we had women from different functions host a table. We had 10 women host 5 different areas, everything from CRM to Salesforce.com expertise. I mean, we had all different functions, and we made sure that everyone took a turn at each table, so that our social media intern could understand what our SAP integrators, what they are and what they do. And it was really important because not only did they learn a lot about each other, but they felt like they were part of something bigger. They felt that, there's so many different career possibilities. And some people met each other for the first time. They're like, oh, wait, you're Susanna? I only talked to you on the phone. You're so smart. And it's so amazing to see once you get kind of past what your specialty is and you just look beyond that, how much more you can learn and how many more possibilities you have. So I'm just going to finish with a final comment. And I mentioned it before, Digitel only launched in March, and we did it for little to no money. And what's funny about that is because we built a website because we know how to do it. We designed it, we talked about it, we were out there communicating about it. But we did it for very little, and we did it really fast. So if you have an idea about building a network, you should go and do it. If you have an idea about joining a network, you should go and do it. It's easy. And if you can bring everyone together, you can learn so much more from each other. And don't wait for others to do it. Go ahead and do it like I did. And again, make sure you're there and you're supporting each other and you're helping building each other. Because really, for me, Digitel, it's not really about me. I want to make sure that now that we all have a seat at the leadership table, that all of the women of Digitel are out there and being their very best self. So that's my presentation, and I look forward to hearing questions from you at the Q&A.